Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna everyone. So today's chapter, Akshara Brahma Yoga. Second, let me share the screen. Yes. Okay, you can see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. So day 8 of understanding Gita in 18 days. So today's chapter, very interesting. Akshara Brahma Yoga, attaining the Supreme. So in this chapter, Lord Krishna is going to explain how one has to leave the body, right? So living our body is also an art. So Krishna is going to tell us how should we prepare ourselves. Prabhupada says that death is a preparation and life is a preparation and death is an examination. So it is called as litmus test. So basically when a person, when he dies, what will be his consciousness? So accordingly, based on that, he'll be getting a next life, right? We have studied like 84 lakh species are there. So we don't know what do we think at the time of death. So that consciousness is very important. So this is possible only in human life, right? These animals do not have this intelligence. So this intelligence is given only to human beings. So we should not just waste our life in just eating, defending, and sleeping and mating, these things, right? We have to take this. We have to go above this. So we have to understand this knowledge from the Lord, and we have to apply in our lives. So let's see. So let's pay our obeisances to Sri Radha Govinda. ISKCON Mangaluru deities, and teachings based on His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So verse 1, Arjuna uvacha kim tad brahma kimadhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam adhidaivam kimuchyate. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman, what is self, what are fruitive activities, what is this material manifestation, and what are demigods? Please explain this to me. Actually, there was a question in, while ending the chapter 7, Krishna says two shlokas here. So, where Krishna says that person, Jara Marana Mokshaya, Mam Ashritya Yatantide, like at the time of death, whoever thinks about me, he is a Brahman, and also he says that Sadi prayana kale chipama te vidur yukta chetasaha. Like whatever at the time of death he thinks he is going to get that body. So he uses certain words here, which so Arjuna wants to clarify. So Arjuna is asking here, what is Brahman, what is self, what are fruitive activities, what is material manifestation, and what are demigods? Please explain this to me. So and then in next he asks Adi yagna katam kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katam neyosi niyatatmabihi. So we see this in a table. So these are the questions asked by Arjuna. So what is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adibhuta? What is Adi Daiva? What is Adi Yagna? Where does Adi Yagna reside? How to remember Krishna at time of death? So what is Brahman? Brahman is the Jiva, the soul. The so this is like we are not this just body. So we take so many lives. So the soul is called as the Brahman. Adhyatma means the nature of the self. So what is the nature? Actually, currently we have forgot our real nature, which is to serve the Lord. So Jivere Swarupoy Krishnera Nityadas. So that is the real nature of the soul. So that is Adhyatma. And Karma, action leading to material body. So we'll see this one by one. Basically, and whatever the work we do, right, good or bad, based on our karmas. So different activities, we get a different birth. So if we are doing a good activity, we can go to heaven, and if we are doing a bad karmas, we can go to hell. So if we are engaged in fruitive activities, again we take birth in the earth, right, in the material world. That is Adhibhuta, material manifestation, which is material nature, and Adi Daiva is universal form, which includes all demigods. Adi Yagna is Paramatma. So we know, like Paramatma, he's the enjoyer of all sacrifice. He stays in our heart as Paramatma. So where does he reside? In heart of all. So how to remember Krishna? Krishna says, practice, remember throughout life. So basically, in the first shloka, so the question that Arjuna is asking is very important, because Prabhupada also says that when we ask a question, so that has to be really useful, and it should be very thoughtful, right? So he is asking here, so what a very brilliant question Arjuna is asking. So the same thing when in Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj, he was about to leave he was about to die in 7 days, he asked Shukadev Goswami that what should be the thought, or what should the consciousness of a person who is leaving his body, right, when he is dying? What are the duties of a person who is going to die? So then Shukadev Goswami appreciates him that this is a brilliant question. So similarly, we should ask such questions. So we have to be basically inquisitive. So, but nowadays in Kali Yuga mainly, people are more engrossed in materialistic activities, and nobody questioning such inquisitive questions. Nobody asks, right? So This is very important to question these things. And so it is like Prabhupada says that we have come to this world, but we don't know where to go. Like it is like we are sitting in a cab, and I'm saying the driver that I mean he's just taking us, but without knowing where the destination. Like he asked me where I have to drop you, but I don't know where is my destination. It is just like that. We have come here, but we don't know what is the real purpose of the life. So what is yes. So how can we understand these things? So we have to be in association of pure devotees, just like Prahlad Maharaj. He came in contact with Narada Muni, so he became purified. And similarly, the Dhruv Maharaj, who came in contact with Narada Muni, and he also got purified. So we have to be in association of pure devotees. Only with their mercy we will be able to understand this. So, and also we need to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Adi yagnakatam kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kale chakatam neyosi niyatatmabihi. Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana, how can those engaged in devotional know you at the time of death? So now Arjuna is asking, who is that enjoyer of all sacrifice and how does he knows everything? Again, it is like a FAQs for us. So he's asking how somebody who is already engaged in devotional service, how can they know the Lord? Shri Bhagavanuvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavod Adhyatamuchyate Bhuta Bhavod Bhavakaro Visarga Karma Sangitaha. Oh, there's no translation here. 1 second. I'll just read it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to development of material bodies of the living entities is called as karma or fruitive activities. So we can see here how the different people engaged in different activities, right? So people, how do they engage based on their desires? So and their activities, it is decided. So based on the activities, the person, if he is in Sattva Guna, he will be he will be engaged in good work, so he can go to heaven. And then if somebody is engaged in the adharmic activities, then he can, like if a person is very not having any differentiation, he eats anything, right? So so such person, he'll be given a, so Krishna will instruct the material nature, and then she will provide accordingly the body of a pig, because his consciousness when he leaves, it will be a of a like his consciousness will be polluted. And also in the person who is very lusty, he is given a body of dog, so that the dogs do not have any discrimination. They I mean they can do anything, right? Even if they do anything on roads, nobody will question. So that is the reason. So it is said here that the person, based on his karma, he will get the next body. Adhibhutam sharo bhavaha purushas daivatam adhiyegno aham evatra dehe dehabrutam vara. O best of embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation, the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of sun, moon, is called Adhidaiva, and I, Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of embodied being, is called as Adi Yagna. So three things here they are mentioning. Krishna is mentioning Adi Bhuta, which is the material nature, which also uh, uh, changing, ever changing. So it is also like in a day of Brahma morning, morning Brahma creates, and the end of the day it again annihilates. So material manifestation is also changing, and the universal form of the God, which is actually in the material world. So universal form of the God is not really a spiritual form. So Krishna's spiritual form is only in Goloka. So, and also when he comes to earth, so he comes in a spiritual form. But in the 11th chapter, which he exhibits the universal form to Arjuna, that is a that is a material form. So that is also here. It is called as Adi Daiva. Adi Daiva means it is also including the demigods. So these demigods are also like all our organs in our body is also one. There is a demigods who are responsible for each of them. So, and then the Supreme Lord, he's in the soul, he's in the heart of everyone. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. And whoever at the end of his life, what is that? Quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. So Krishna is telling that at the time of death, whoever remembers Krishna, they're going to get the same body. So our consciousness is very important. So here we can see the example of Bhishma Deva. So Bhishma Deva has really at the time of death, like he had a Ichamaran, right? He was given, his father had given him a boon, Shantanu, that he can die when he wants to die. So he was lying on the bed of arrows for almost 6 months, and I think during Uttarayan, so that time he chose to leave his body, but the Krishna, the Lord, was in front of him when he was leaving his body. So he was giving Lord, pleasing the Lord in the form of like Shaurya Rasa. Like even when he was fighting with the Lord, he was leaving the arrows towards the Lord. Krishna was still enjoying that. So, and then when he was leaving his body, so all the devatas, it is said that all devatas were also present. So his death was so glorious. So even Narada Muni, Vyasadev, everybody we can see here, all Indra, all the devatas were present when Bhishma Dev left his body. So it is basically he's teaching us the art of living. So, but nobody, generally no one discusses on these topics, right? So, but it is said in the Shastras that these are we have to also, we have to also educate the children also. Like only then we can, they also keep their it will help them, like engage them in devotional activities, so they can also keep their consciousness clean. Ahani ahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam shesha stavaram ichanti kim ascharyam atha param. Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. So this was the question asked by Yaksha to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So he asked him, what is that surprising, what is that wonderful thing that in the world? So for that, Yudhishthira answers this, that every day thousands and thousands of living entities meet death, but still everybody thinks that I am not going to die, I am going to live forever, right? Everybody wants to be eternal. Even Hiranyakashipu, he wanted to be eternal. He asked for Lord Brahma, and then Lord Brahma himself says that I myself am not eternal. How can I give you such wish? So all people, like every day, so many insects, right? Like the ant, it will take birth in the morning and it may die the night. But so we are also like such ants in front of Lord Brahma. We are nothing. So, but we are very proud, and we think that we are never going to die, and we are not preparing it also, because okay, we tell spirituality, okay, we can do at a very old age, like it's still we have time, but no one knows, right? There is no guarantee, like for like tomorrow I'll be awake or not. So it is just a hope. So there is no guarantee that when our death will come, right? So this is the most wonderful thing. This was the answer by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So it is at the time of death, whatever consciousness we have, that we will attain. So here we have seen the story of Bharat Maharaj. So earlier also we see like how he gets a deer, and he gets attached to it, like he is a Raja Rishi. He leaves all his kingdom, wife, children, everything, and he comes to forest, and then he sees baby deer, right? When mother was leaving the body, I mean, she was dying, and she gives birth to a baby deer and she leaves. So he brings it to his ashram, and he gets so much attached to the deer. So every now and then he forgets his purpose, right? And and then when one day the deer doesn't come to the ashram, he is very worried, and he goes in search of the deer. And then he from the top of mountain, right, he falls, and uh, he leaves his body. But since his consciousness was the of the deer, he takes birth as deer in his next life. So, but the one thing we have to note here, not that everybody of us will be fortunate like Bharat Maharaj, because Bharat Maharaj, he didn't go through any evolution cycle. Like if we fall down, we have to again go through all evolution cycle. Like after insect, like it is like a after insect, then we become like a, I mean, from water species, then they become animals, and two-legged and four-legged, and then gradually to a human being, like plants and all that. It's like a evolutionary cycle. But Bharat Maharaj was fortunate because he was a I mean, pure devotee. Actually, it is said that in the 9 stages of bhakti, he was in bhava stage. So uh, uh, so he was Shraddha, we know that. So the 9 stages of bhakti: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So the last stage is attaining the love of God, which is Prema. But Bharat Maharaj was said to be in Bhava stage. But Krishna gave him the remembrance. So he could remember what happened in his past life even when he was a deer. So when he was a deer also, he just leaves his life by having dry grass, and having some prasad at a temple. He goes there, and leftover prasads, like that. So next life he gets a human life immediately. So he becomes a Jada Bharat, we know that. So this is a and then finally after that life he goes back to Godhead. So this is just a lesson for us to take, that how careful we have to be with our consciousness. So this is we all know this, how a person, just like he like how we change our old garments if it is worn off, so we put on the new garment. Similarly, a soul accepts the new material body, giving up the old and useless ones. um, ja, uh, uh, देहिनोऽस्मिन्, one is देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तर प्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. That is the other shloka which says that the dhiras, the brave ones, are not afraid of leaving the body because they know that I'm not this body. We once we take birth, we go through the 6 stages, right? We take birth and then we stay in the womb and we grow, and then the person produce some effects like he may have children and all that, and then dwindles and finally he leaves the body. These are the six stages every person has to go through. So a brave person should not be worried about leaving the body. Uh, this is vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani gृह्णाति naro parani tata sharirani tata sharirani sorry tata tata sharirani sorry, I'm not getting that. uh, okay. uh, So basically, it is said that just like how we change our clothes, the body takes a new, the soul when it takes the new body. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya mayyarpitamano buddhihi mame vaishyasi asamshayaha. So, oh, there are no translations. Oh, God. Okay, actually, what is it saying? Tasmat sarveshu kalesu. So so Krishna is telling yes. So all the time, ma manusmara yudhyacha. Always think of me and fight. So Krishna is not telling that give up fight and you have to meditate on me. No, you have to do your duties, whatever is assigned. Like as a kshatriya, whatever varnashrama a person is, if is a he can be in a Brahmin, he's a brahmachari, or he can be grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. Whatever ashramas a person is, he has to do his duty, but thinking of Krishna. Mayyarpita mano buddhihi. Engage your mind in me. Mame vaishyasa asamshayaha means you will certainly attain me. So we know this Prahlad Maharaj, who is a pure devotee, because when he was in his mother's womb, he heard all, the Bhagavatam and about Lord Krishna when he was in his mother's womb. So when he was born, only he was a pure devotee of the Lord, and also he is one of the Mahajans. So of the 12 Mahajans, Prahalad Maharaj also is a Mahajan. So he was like every day, though his father was giving him like he was trying to kill him but with new plans, but he was always thinking of Lord. So no, he could not, so he was so powerful, but still his father, Hiranyakashipu, could not do him anything. So he was and Prahlad Maharaj in Gurukul also, he made all the other they're all children of all demons, right? But then asuras, they were children of, but he gave the Harinam to everyone and made them chant. So Krishna says that all the time you have to think of me and do the work. Abhyasayogayuktena chetasa nanyagaminā paramam purusham divyam yati parthanuchintayan. Let me see the translation. Abhyasayogayuktena. 1 second. Okay. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from path from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So this is a story from Bhagavatam, Ajamila. So Ajamila story, the sinner turning over a new leaf. So okay. So we have studied in the chapter 2, right? So when somebody is I mean we have attachment to the sense objects, what happens? From that attachment comes the lust, and lust, when it is not fulfilled, anger, and then delusion, and bewilderment. It causes bewilderment and the loss of intelligence, and finally the person falls. So we can see here what happens to the same thing. Like Ajamila, he was a Brahmin priest. So one day he goes to the forest to pluck flowers. So what happens? He belongs to very nice Brahmin family. He has a chaste wife at home, and he has good parents and everything. So he comes to forest to pluck flowers. So he hears some noise, and then he sees that some one drunkard is a Shudra, and he was with a prostitute. So they were. So he just feels that let me see once, right? This is what happens. Like he had he not seen. I mean, he would have not committed a sin in his life, but then he feels okay. Let me see what will happen. I'll just see. But then he sees, then his mind gets polluted, and then he feels that he wants that prostitute. He feels that if that Shudra can have, why not me? I am higher, like I am a Brahmin, I can have her. So then he brings her home. He initially he tells his wife that she is the maid, and then finally everybody comes to know, and he tells them that I want her. So if you don't want to accept her, then they can leave home. So he his parents and his wife, everyone leaves him. And not only that, because to satisfy her greed, like since she's a prostitute, he engages himself in so many illegal works. He robs, he becomes a murderer also, everything he does. But what happens, I mean, he also has more than 10 children. So at the age of 80 also, he has a kid, he has a child. So somehow Krishna gives him the intelligence, because he had done some devotional at his young age. So Krishna give him intelligence to keep the name as Narayana. So he keeps the child the name as Narayana, and the child become very dear to him. So every now and then he wants to call the child for everything, whatever he wants. Narayana, I want water, or Narayana, did you have your food? Something like that. He keeps on calling. So one day, his death comes, like Yamarajas, because he has done so much of sin. Yamadutas come to take him to the hell. So then immediately what happens? Vishnu Dutas come and stop them. And then they say that how can you take? I mean, then they go and complain to Yamaraj, and then Yamaraj says that I cannot do anything because they are Vishnu Dutas, and I cannot because he has to Vishnu is the he is the supreme authority, right? Supreme authority of Godhead. So he couldn't do anything. So they then leave. So they cut the ropes. The Vishnu Dutas cut off the ropes, but then they don't take Ajamila because he was not purified. They just leave him. But then Ajamila, he realizes his mistake, that he understands that he had been so much sinful, and then he goes to Haridwar. So he goes to Haridwar and does a penance. After that, the Vishnu Dutas come and then take him to the Lord's abode. So this is a real story which has happened, and this is mentioned in Shastras in Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada has written a book based on this. It's called as the Second Chance. So because he has got a second opportunity. But we have also done, knowingly or unknowingly, we have also committed so many sins, right, in our life, or we don't know, like even if we would have done in our previous lives. But Prabhupada says not everybody can or fortunate to get the second chance. So we have to take it the devotional service at a very young age, or even if we have at least from now, if somebody is already you are at old age, no, nothing to worry. At least you can practice now seriously. You can take it up. So how do we start a devotional service? With the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when should we start our devotional service? At as early as possible, right? This is Prabhupada was this Ratha Yatra which he organized, right? His father brought him a Ratha when he was the age of 5. And then for 8 days they did the Rath Yatra. So even Prahlad Maharaj says that Kaumaram Acharato Pragna. So one has to practice. Prahlad Maharaj, he himself is a 5-year-old. It is not necessary that somebody in spiritual life, it is not necessary that with the experiment people talk. It is not like somebody who knows the family life, that person only can advise us. No, nothing like that. Prahlad Maharaj was only 5-year-old, and he is telling that it is important to practice spiritual life from very early age. Kaumaram Acharato Pragna, he says. So that is they the realization comes to them from the Lord. They don't need to experience it. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniyam Samanusmaredyaha Sarvasya Dhata Ram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parashtat. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun and is transcendental beyond this material nature. So, how is the Lord? So, it is said Krishna is a person. It is not, so he is not a light or energy or anything, right? He is a person and he knows everything, right? Krishna is he is the oldest. So, Ishwaraha Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda. So he is the oldest. He is the oldest who is the controller. Right? Krishna is the controller of all the universe, material and spiritual universe. And who is the smaller of the smallest. So he is Krishna is there even in the atom. Every atom he is there. So we cannot understand that. And then but when pure devotee calls, he also come from the Goloka, right? And also when Prahlad Maharaj called him, he came out of the pillar. So Krishna is everywhere. He is the smallest of the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything. So he is the maintainer. Yesterday also we see like how pearls are strung on it. Thread, right? So similarly, Krishna takes care of this universe. So who is beyond all material conception. So with material eyes, we can't understand the Lord, right? We saw yesterday, right? There are three chakshu. What is that? Charma chakshuhu, that is material eyes, and then Divya chakshu, which is the divine eyes, and then Prema chakshu, only with the love and devotion, right? Devotional service only Krishna can be conceived, not with any material conception or with mental speculation. We cannot understand the Lord. So he is luminous like the sun and he is transcendental beyond the material nature because he is above the three modes. So all devatas, so they always meditate. Whenever there is a problem, they run to Lord, right? So they go to the Vishnu, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, they go to. So here also like Brahma is meditating always on the Lord, and also Lord Shiva also always meditate on the Lord. So what lesson we can take is that we also should meditate on the Lord. So but we are not in a stage to meditate always on 24 hours, right? So at least we have to start chanting so that so much time we remember. So slowly we are like a sadhakas. We are not an Ananya Bhakta. Ananya Bhakta means all the time they think, but at least we do so that it comes as a habit to us. And there is a chance, like there are chances that we can remember the Lord's name at the time of death. So this is Krishna's Shamasundar form. Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabh partha nityayuktasya yoginah. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So, for a pure devotee, it is Krishna is always present. It is not, he does not go anywhere. He always, as a Paramatma, he gives instruction to them and he is always there for the pure devotees. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः. Oh, no, 1 second. So Mamupetya Punarjanma. So if you worship, if you worship me, if you think of me, then you will not get again the birth. Punarjanma is not there. Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So this material world, Krishna is telling as a Dukkhalayam, is a place of misery. And Ashashvatam means temporary place. This is not a permanent place, right? So we are thinking that this is a permanent place and we are here to enjoy. But Krishna is telling this is not a permanent place. You are come as a temporary, and we have to, why we have come here, we have to reform ourselves. So Krishna is telling us some unfilled desires we have come to fulfill that. But then once we have to get purified, then only we go back to Godhead. Napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gatim. So the pure devotees, they can come to Lord. So let me see the proper translation once. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. So the great yogi. So here we can see what is happening here. This person, okay. So this person is climbing, right? He to come out. See, this is a devotee who is coming straight from a door, but he is doing so much of circus to come out, right? So these are all like jnanis, karmis, and because they do so much of hard work. But when somebody takes bhakti, it is very easy to attain the Lord. That is the thing which is saying here. Ha Brahma Bhuvanalokaha Punaravartinorjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attained to my abode, O son of Kunti, never take birth again. So even if a person does a lot of punya, right? He does lot of charity work. People do so much of philanthropic works and everything, social service and all that. What will happen? So much punya is there, he go to the heaven. But whenever, like it is like a currency. When the currency is over, like we has to come back. So when his punya gets over, he again comes back to this material world. Only from this material world, one good thing about this material world is that only from here we have the opportunity to go back to Godhead. Not in any world, not even in Brahma's world, because they also they cannot go directly like that. So Brahmaloka also, Krishna is telling, even Brahmaloka also there is a birth and death. We understood in chapter 4 that Brahma also lives for certain age, like 311 trillion years. So but for us it is like Brahma's every day he creates. Morning he creates the uh, material world, and his night he annihilates. So but such Brahma also has to die one day. But Krishna says one who attains my abode will never take birth again. So if we go to Krishna's world, we will not take the birth again. So we see here, even in heaven there is war, right? The demons come and disturb. And also in earth also, so much of violence is there, war is there. And in hell it is just a pain. So by human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. When Brahma's day is manifest, this multitude of living entities comes into being, and at the arrival of Brahma's night, they all annihilated. So basically, what happens when this material world is annihilated, or we call pralaya, right? When everything comes to end, gets destroyed, what happens? All the souls go, we all go, and we are there in the uh, we'll be in a sleepy, the consciousness will be in a sleepy mode. Okay, we will be in uh, in Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, right? In the in his stomach. So then after that, when Brahma creates, then every living being again they come to they take birth, and all the activities wherever it was stopped, from there it will again start. So it is said like that in Bhagavatam. So they again start from the where they left. So and then again and again the day comes, and the uh, sorry, it is in the I think it is in Mahavishnu, not Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, in the in the Mahavishnu. Again and again the day comes, and his host of beings is active, and again the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. So it is talking about all the living beings, how they in the day of Brahma they come and then they get annihilated, they all die. Dying means the material body will go. So Krishna says here, there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all this world is annihilated, that part remain as it is. Though, as we know, like spiritual world is 3/4 of the creation of the Lord. So this material world is only 1/4. So there are many multiple universes like this. So and everything is populated. So it is not just this universe, all the universe are populated, it seems. So here Krishna is saying that there is another world which is spiritual world. So in spiritual world, it does not get annihilated, it is a eternal. So the time also, here we have time, right? We have the time, every time is running. So every day we are nearing to death, right? So but in the spiritual world the time remains eternal. There is no past, present, future in it. It doesn't exist like that there. So it is time is also eternal, and the spiritual world also is eternal, and the beings who are there, they are also eternally they live along with the Lord. So this is a Goloka chart. I will show at the end of the class, because I can't expand this, so I'll show separately. So this is a representation from the Bhagavatam. Okay, from Bhagavatam, this is Prabhupada has made this the chart, and this is the same in this way. This is a Goloka, this is a Vaikunta, and then here it is Shirodaka Shai, Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, and from his navel, so it goes like there are 14 planets, and this is Brahma. So I'll just explain you later. So Goloka Vrindavan. So Goloka, in this is a Goloka, okay? This is like a lotus petals. So here various pastimes happen, just like how whatever happened here in material world Vrindavan. Actually, Vrindavan is also is a transcendental. It is not a normal, but with our material eyes, we feel that it is a normal place. But for a pure devotees, they can still see the pastimes of the Lord there. And so it is said like it is similar to Goloka Vrindavan. So in Goloka Vrindavan, whatever pastimes Krishna performed, he does that with his pure devotees. So there are 5 rasas in the Goloka Vrindavan. What are they? So actually, first is Shantarasa. Shantarasa means having a that sweet relation. We can see this. This is called as Shantarasa. That is, they are serving the Lord. But they are not having. I mean, they can't exchange any more relationship there. Like a they're in Shantarasa. They are serving the Lord. All the animals like a peacock and cow and all that, swan. Okay, these are serving in Shantarasa to the Lord. And then comes the Dasya Rasa. In Dasya also it is like a servant as a servant, serving the Lord as a servant. So like Lord Hanuman. So these 2 rasas are there in Vaikunta. So because Lord is just like a like Prabhupada says, like a high court judge. So if he's in a court, he's like a he'll be very respected, and that reverence is there. But then when he comes home, he's a loving dad, right, for the kid. So similarly, Krishna, when in he is the same, his expansions are Krishna expands himself to first expands to Balram, and then then to Sankarshan. So from Sankarshan comes the 4 quadruple expansions, and then from Sankarshana comes the second Sankarshana. So from second Sankarshana comes Narayana. So from Narayana comes 3 Purushas. They are 3 Purushas are 3 Vishnus. Actually, we only many people have heard only about one Vishnu, but actually Bhagavatam speaks about 3 Vishnus: Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, and Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. So what is Mahavishnu does? So Mahavishnu is responsible for creating the n number of universes. He creates when he breathe and breathe out, n number of universes are created. And then Mahavishnu, then comes the Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu. So Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, he lies on the casual ocean. It is said like casual ocean. He actually universe was very dark. He fills it with water, and then he lies down and he lies down on that, and then from his navel a lotus stem comes, and from that Lord Brahma, the first living entity, is born. So Lord Brahma, and from Lord Brahma we all have come, right? From him only the 4 Kumaras came, and then the Manu, and Manu is the father of mankind, from whom then later they populated the universe. So different universes. So that's how the expansion happened. Then comes the Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu, who is as a Paramatma in all our heart, who is also called as the super solar Paramatma. All right. So he is a Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. So whatever problems happens in this material world, people go to this Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu, who is there as Paramatma in our heart. So these are the Vishnus. So these rasas, Shantarasa and the Dasya Rasa are there in Vaikunta. But only in Goloka we can see the Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, and Madhurya Rasa. So Vatsalya Rasa is like seeing the, Krishna becoming like a child of Yashoda, and we can see he gives that transcendental pleasure, like by he is a lord of the universe, but still he is afraid of his mother, right? So that pastimes goes on there in the Goloka, and also he's there like the next is the Sakya. So as a friends like with his Gopa boys, right? We can see here how Krishna plays with his friends. So that is in Sakya Rasa, and then the Madhurya Rasa. So in Madhurya Rasa, he is with the Radharani and gopis. So Krishna's different, like Krishna's as a children, this form is also eternally exist in the spiritual world, and also as a 16-year-old boy, right? That form also eternally exists in the spiritual world. So this is a famous verse from Mukunda Mala Stotra, which is said by King Kulashekara. So there are many words, and this is one of the favorite words of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada often used to sing this, and this is said the king was very young. So that time he sings, right? It is not like when he is old. So what does he say? Krishna त्वदीया पादपङ्कजपञ्जरान्तम् अद्यैव मे विशतु मानसराजहंसा प्राणप्रयाणसमये कफवातपित्ते कान्तावरोधनं स्मरणं कुतस्ते. So, O Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower-like feet, just as the flamingo enters into the labyrinth of the lotus flower stems, when at the moment of my last breath, my throat becomes constricted by the action of bodily hu- humors, air, bile, and phlegm. And how will I able to remember you? So basically, what is he saying? Just like how this span catch hold of the stem of the lotus, because it is said there are two kind of people. One are swans, one are the crows. So crow always like in Bhagavatam it is given that there is a shloka which says that there are two people kind of people in the world. One are like swans and one are like crow. So swan, what is does, even if it is given milk and water, it can separate and take just milk from that, right? It takes only the good things. So and it is also in the clean water always. But the crow we see, it is always in the dirty water, or I mean dirt, wherever is there is a filthy, right? Filthy things, and that place only crow stays. So if we are engaged in I mean, we are not if we are engaged in such kind of work, or also in the we are only we get lost in the materialistic thing, people, so then they consider in shastras, they say that they are like a crows. So here it is said that he is praying the Lord that when I get old, it will be difficult for me to take your name. So please take my, I mean, let me die now. So he's praying that. So it's the prayer of the king. Vedeshu yagneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam अत्येति तत् सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifice, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme abode, eternal abode. So, Krishna is telling here that there is no need for studying all the Vedas or performing sacrifice, or undergoing all austerities on all this, right? But whoever takes the devotional service, right, performing devotional service itself, one person can attain the supreme abode. So here we can see like this is Kapila Muni. He is also incarnation of Lord. So he comes and he teach the Sankhya philosophy to his mother. So in Vedic age, like the women were not going out, right? So either husband has to tell the spiritual, he has to tell, or the son has to teach. So he preach his mother about the Sankhya philosophy. So also Krishna says that when somebody like तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते. Whoever worship Krishna, so he gives that buddhi yoga, that is intelligence. So he gives us the intelligence how to go back to the Lord. So also he says that for the if somebody is uneducated, he removes the ignorance by lighting the knowledge in their hearts. So Krishna can do that, but if we are really sincere. So not really required that we have to, the person has to study all the Vedas, right? So this is the last sloka, I think. So I'll show you this chart, Goloka chart. Let me share. Yeah, Karnodaka Shai Vishnu. Karnodaka Shai Vishnu is a Mahavishnu, both are same. One second. Goloka chart. Okay. So this is a Goloka chart. See, this is available with us, okay? It's a very big chart and a very beautiful one. It will be covering almost your wall, I think. It is very big. You can just order if you're interested. I mean, it is having the complete details. See, if you enlarge, how much ever enlarge, you can, I will say, share you the soft copy. So you can see here. So this is a Goloka, right? So we can see all the Vedas here. This is Sama Veda and Atharva Veda, Rig Veda. These are the four doors and the four expansions of the Lord. You can see the Sri Aniruddha, Sri Vasudeva, and here Sankarshana and Pradyumna. So these are all Sakhis. Lalita, Vishaka, Suchira, all Sakhis. They are all like Manjaris. And here we can see Radha and Krishna. And these are all in petals. Each petals we can see like different pastimes going on in the spiritual world. Here Krishna is eating butter, and here he is with the Yashoda Mata, and here with his gopis. So these are all always eternally it happens. It doesn't end. It happens. So then here in Goloka, there are three places: Mathura, Jagannath Puri, Dwaraka. Everything is there. It is Vrindavan. And then outside there is Ayodhya, where Lord Ram also eternally exists. So this is called a spiritual sky. So this in the spiritual sky, somewhere in a corner we are there in the material sky. So this is Ayodhya, and then comes this is a Vaikunta. So here Lord Narayana, right, along with this um, concert, Lakshmi stays. So different devatas we can see here. You can see. So this is Vaikunta. And then below Vaikunta, this is Brahma Jyoti. See, all the jnanis, right, who meditate on the effulgence of the Lord, they cannot enter this Vaikunta, because they will come back to this material world. They don't get liberated completely. I mean, they cannot come out of this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. They go there, but then again, because there is no service there, they get bored and they come back. They come back to the material world again, and those are the people who become this philanthropist and they engage in social service and this thing. But gradually they get purified and they come into devotion. And here this is Sadashiva Loka, because Shiva is said to be like he is a half Vishnu Tattva and a half Jiva Tattva. He is not like Brahma is fully Jiva Tattva, but Lord Shiva is said to be a mix of both. He is a Vishnu Tattva and also he is a Jiva Tattva. So he's very strong. He's also strong. Like there are like totally they say it is said that Krishna has 64 qualities, and Lord Vishnu has 60 qualities, and Lord Shiva has 55, Lord Brahma has 50. So everyone, anyone can come to up to 50, it seems. Even a person like us, like if we have the chance to become like a Brahma. But I mean, when when Brahma is not there, Krishna becomes himself a Brahma. So he takes the form of Brahma if he does not get a suitable Brahma, like because even Brahma's life is also gets over, right? So here, then this is Mahakala Dhama, that is Shiva Loka. This is half year and half in the. So here this is Maya Devi. So Lord Vishnu's expansion, okay? Then he expands, and then Shambhu. So Shambhu, when he stays at like Maya, so that is a Durga Devi. And then actually Mahavishnu, I mean Karnodaka Sai Vishnu or Mahavishnu, he glances over the Rama Devi, and then she expands herself to Maya, that is Parvati or Durga. It's then Shiva. So he does not directly engage into material thing. So then the material world is created. So here is the uh, so this is Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, right? Second expansion of Vishnu. So from his stem, we can see here there are 14 world planets. So topmost planet is Satyaloka, and then comes Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Swar, Bhuva, Bhuvar, Bhur, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. So we are here at Bhur, right in the middle. So below us also there are many planets. So when a person does good deeds, he go up. In this, our bad deeds come down. But then if we have to go to Goloka, then we can see here, this is a transcendental sound, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, okay? So from here, we have a direct access to go to, we can see where it goes, this mantra. We can see, if you all can see this, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we can go here, or we can also go here, from here to, like, it depends. Some people want to serve the Lord in a servitor mode, like a servant. So those people cannot go to Goloka. I mean, they'll be here in Vaikunta, right? Lord Hanuman don't want to go to Krishna. He want Rama only. He want to be a servitor of Lord Ram. So he will be in Vaikunta, or this Ayodhya, right? And then, but the devotees who see Krishna in the different rasas, other rasas like Sakya, Madhurya, and they go here. So we can see here. And also we can see in the last petals here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he is also Krishna himself. So this is the thing. So these are the 14 planet. Okay. Okay. So you can, we will share this in group. You can just go through it. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Kiran. Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Tell me.
Mataji, from childhood onwards, I have been learning, like, I mean, even neighbors, everybody's, the Krishna, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. I mean, and
Yeah.
Vishnu incarnation is Krishna, Rama, and Kurma avatar, Matsya avatar,
Yeah.
Varaha
Yeah.
avatar, like that.
Yes.
So, lot of confusion is going in my mind. Like, I mean, so even, I mean, there are there are something like Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta Advaita. These are all there. So Dvaita means that is God is different and human being is different. Means
Yeah.
Jivi is different. Advaita
Yeah.
means you can become
Yeah.
Purnamada, Purnamidam. Not exactly that much, but at least a small Purna. That is called Advaita Shankaracharya. So Vishishta
See,
Advaita
basically,
Madhvacharya.
yeah, all this no, yeah, yeah, you complete then I will.
So yeah, so here I love Krishna like anything, but thing is, these are all also at the same time. I mean, these theories are also correct. Na? Like Shiva is himself is like Viveka. Like if you want to have the knowledge, then you Shanta Namashantaya Tejase. So very Shanta Swarup, and you will become a illusion. I mean, very good knowledge if you pray the Shiva like that. But ultimately, we will reach Krishna only, not Vishnu, Narayana only. We will reach. That is the ultimate goal. But in that way, if you want to pass through to initially have a Namashanta, I mean Shiva's Tattva, then you need to learn the Shiva Tattva. Then at the end, so Narayana. But this
See,
confusion,
Prabhuji,
I
why
mean,
this confusion happened is because, see, Vedavyasa has written so many Puranas, 18 Puranas, okay? So they are being categorized as Sattva, five Puranas are in Sattva Gun, and then Rajogun and Tamsik. Why did he do? Because there are different category of people. So if you like, somebody is in very Tamsik mode, okay? You just tell them to leave everything and take Krishna consciousness or spirituality. They are not ready. So for them, gradually they have to come from that. So for that, different Puranas he made, but he did the mistake. So this, if you will know this if you read the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the authentic, okay? And who is Vyasadeva? Vyasadeva is the incarnation of Lord himself. So he is writing that, and in that you can see this all expansions. See what we are doing now. See, when we have a disease, we go to doctor, right? We have to go to doctor. But can we ask our neighbor, like I'm having some disease, can I take the medicine from them? No. But currently what we are doing, we are we have some doubts in spirituality. We are asking, we are hearing that from so many other peoples who don't know themselves properly. They are not clear themselves, right? So what we have to do, we have to see for a proper authentic scripture. So which is Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the authentic. So you have to see in that what is said. So what is Vedavyasa has given. All these expansions are given there, and who is what is his incarnations. And if you come to this Shankaracharya, right? You said so. Shankaracharya, why did he? When he came, it was like he came immediately of Buddha. Shankaracharya also is mentioned in Bhagavatam, and also this Buddha, Lord Buddha also is mentioned. When Lord Buddha came, so it was like people were eating meat because of this so many Puranas, right? It says that you can kill an animal on a Amavasya day, that is once in a month. On Amavasya day, you can give a sacrifice in front of Devi and you can consume. But then people, what they did, they completely forgot like Amavasya and all. People started eating like anything. So then, so much of adharma, right? Krishna there says like Eda Eda hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever there is a decline in religion, I will come. So Krishna comes like in a form of Buddha, Lord Buddha, and then he says Nindasi Veda, that is he rejects all the Vedas. He says that all Vedas are wrong, because that time that was required to stop this whatever nonsense, like this people are become so inhuman towards animals. So he had to stop that. So he said all Vedas are wrong. So he is a god himself, but he says all Vedas are wrong because he had to stop it. So at that time, what is required? God does that. What is required at that time? So he came, then he stopped the Vedas. Then immediately what happened? So all people stopped eating non-veg, and people became a bit more religious, right? But then everybody stopped. They didn't believe in God, and so then next was Shankaracharya. He had to come, and then we know like he established the four matas. But then it is said that he is covered like a Mayavadi. He comes Mayavadi in the sense he is not fully exposing the real thing that there is a Lord. He only says till Brahma Jyoti, like God is some light, like that. Okay, but actually, Shankaracharya also has told, like he has appreciated in, I mean, he has many poems. He has, and also Gita Mahatmya, we see like where he is said so many verses about the Lord, appreciating his beauty. But his followers somehow have not taken that. They have taken like God is Nirakari, right? God does not have a form. That's how it came. So it's all actually based on time. This is also given in Bhagavatam, which is Lord Shiva says to Parvati in a place, I think in Padma Puran or some Puran, it is there, where he says that I am going to take birth as a Brahman, but I am going to be like I will not expose fully. Like he will be like a impersonal. I'll be more so like that. He says the Lord Shiva only comes like a Shankaracharya. So it is all this is given in the Bhagavatam and this Padma Puran and these things, because this Padma Puran and there are few Puranas which comes in Satvik Puranas. So those Puranas we can refer, Prabhuji. So if you hear from everyone or we Google it up, as we know like Google is not right really, it is not authentic, right? Anybody, I can also give my comment and I can put something in the Google and you will get it. So how can we rely on these things, no? So we have to take a bona fide scripture. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Shankaracharya did not hide anything. Actually, he was in a 360-degree angle. He said about Krishnastakam. He has written so many Devi Aparadha Kshama
Yeah,
Prastotram.
he has written, but he has made people confused also. His there are places like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that like many of the Mayavadis, they got converted. Like everybody became devotees of the Lord when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. All Mayavadis, in the sense like who are the followers of Shankaracharya, they all became devotees because even they didn't have proper explanations for that. They had so many doubts, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clarifies, and thousands of them become the devotees. They started following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Shankaracharya, like Lord Shiva has himself told that I come as a Brahmana Kumar, and I will be hiding, he won't be fully exposing like that, he mentions. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Kavita Patel. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Uh,
Krishna.
Mataji, I want to know that the Bhakti Viksha sessions are going to be started.
Yeah.
So which book we have to refer for that?
That you will be informed in the group. Okay, first you will have to register yourself. First you complete this, so you get a certificate, right? So that certificate you have to, I think you have to upload, and then you there in the group you will be taken to a WhatsApp group when you enroll in the Bhagavad Gita. So we will be giving you a link.
I am in level 2.
You are already there.
Sorry.
Okay,
I
so
am, but to clear
you
the
have not got the
subject,
books. You didn't get the book set,
no,
book link.
we just got the grouping in that. It will start by the Wednesday. I
Okay,
think
they will post you. Okay, then they will post in the group. Okay, they will post the books that has to be purchased. And if you go to our website, it is already there in website. Like what are the books to be purchased for level 2? Like I think it is Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad. These two are coming for you.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, anyone has any question? Okay, yesterday somebody asked me about the peacock feather. Is he there? Who was that? Srihan, I think, right? No, he's not there. And Ridham Prabhu, you asked me about why Bhishma Dev is called Mahajan. The answer is that, like half I said that day, like he is a because the persons who have understood the Lord, right? And he is the Mahajan because his life, because whatever oath he took, I mean, he had followed it. So he had shown as an example to us how one should live. And also when leaving body, right? Today we saw how he left his body, what was his consciousness, right? So these are the so that is why he is called as Mahajan. Okay. And was there any other questions which was asked? I had taken something. Yesterday someone asked if he is there, then I could answer regarding the peacock feather. I don't know if he's there. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay. I think Srihan asked. He's not there today. Okay. Okay, if no questions, then we can close. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna.